Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Miranda Holder. I'm a celebrity stylist and your feel-good fashion coach. And together we are going to simplify style and find the fun in fashion and feel good. That's my aim. We have been taking a deep dive into body shape. We have looked at why it's even relevant these days. We've talked about getting your body in proportion. Last week, I showed you exactly how to measure. So you've got a set of measurements and you've got the basics. Now we're taking it one step further and I'm going to talk you through the body types with a bit more information, step by step, and you can start to piece together a few styling tips for your frame. And I hope you're going to enjoy it. Before we jump in, thank you to everyone who has subscribed and all your lovely comments. It means a huge amount to me, so thank you so much and do keep them going. Every like, every love, every comment and every subscribe it definitely really helps me to make more content and sort of put more time into this and bring you all this information. So I am going to share all my pro stylist secrets with you. There's an awful lot of them, so bear with me. We're going to kind of drip feed it through the weeks. And there's loads of beauty things too. And I do take requests. I've got loads and loads of information and experience that I can use to give you all the tools to feel your very best. So do stay tuned. So last week we looked at 3 fail-safe methods of working out which body type you were. Did you have a bit of a go? I'm hoping you've got some measurements now that you can refer back to. And don't forget that top tip about using the size chart now that you have your measurements to save you loads of time and money, particularly when you're shopping online. If in doubt, do size up. And don't forget that scale is also important, body scale. So I mean by petite, plus size, etc., or tall. That can also make a difference. But now you've got your measurements, they really are going to serve you. So keep measuring regularly. So a question I get asked as a personal stylist time and time again is whether your body shape can change with age. And it's a bit of a funny one, to be honest, because it's actually quite hotly debated within the stylist community. And some people say that it can and some say that it can't. But if you think that your body shape is actually based upon your skeleton, so whether you've got broad shoulders or wider hips or how close your rib cage is to your hip bones, that's going to give you your framework. However, as we age, I do think we can slightly morph into something else. But I think the main consideration is that actually nobody is at all the same. We are not cookie cutters, and that makes life far more interesting. And you can be a bit of a mishmash of 2 or 3 body shapes, which I know I can hear you all groaning at home now and thinking, no, I can't learn 3. But I promise, if I could learn this, you can learn this. I'm making it super simple and we're going to take it bit by bit. So you'll be with me, you'll stay with me, and you'll be feeling great through all my styling suggestions. So without further ado, let's have a little look at the main body types in a bit more detail, remembering you could be a little bit of a mixture. And there are a couple of other considerations that we're going to look at besides body type that does impact styling, but we're going to do that in another video. Okay. So the first one we're going to look at is a rectangle. Some people call it a banana, some people call it athletic. I say rectangle. This is actually the figure that most models have. We're talking pretty much straight up and down. So shoulders, waist, hips, and bust, not a lot of difference between those measurements. Usually quite a boyish figure, not very many curves. And certainly no defined waist. If your waist was slim and certainly went in by 8 to 10 inches, then you'd be an hourglass, which is something different. So a rectangle would probably put weight on all over evenly. But then when they get a little bit older, they'll probably start getting more of a tummy and slowly morph into a bit of an apple shape. So that's the most common pairing, is sort of rectangle / apple. You're going to have fabulous legs usually and lovely long slender arms. So nice long limbs. So the styling objective, generally speaking, for a rectangle is to balance you out, put you back into that hourglass shape. So all we're going to do is we're going to broaden you at the shoulders, we're going to broaden you at the hips or the lower half, and we're going to define your waist. If that all sounds super, super scary, and that I'm going to add, put you in massive shoulder pads and huge net skirts and things, then don't worry. There are loads of very subtle and sort of eye-deceiving ways that we can do that. That will make you feel great. I know that adding volume feels rather counterintuitive when most of us are trying to look slimmer these days, let's face it, but it does really work, so do bear with me. So the next body shape we're going to talk about is the hourglass. It's pretty much the opposite of a rectangle. So rectangle straight up and down, but the hourglass have got that lovely figure of 8 shape. So their shoulders and hips are going to be roughly the same width, but their waist is going to come in 8 to 10 inches smaller in measurement. So lucky you, this is the notion of a perfect figure. Marilyn Monroe and my lovely dressmaker's dummy, they're both hourglasses, and most clothes are made with hourglass figures in mind, which is great. However, there are still plenty of styling considerations to take into account. The main thing to think about is that whatever you're going to do to the top half, you want to do to the bottom, because you want to keep that width and volume in proportion whilst always defining the waist. There are always exceptions to the rule if you're going for a particular look, but this is the general styling consideration. We're going to do more on all of this later. The next body shape we're going to look at is the strawberry or inverted triangle. So you have got larger shoulders and or bust. There's slightly different styling considerations for each. That's fine. We're going to go into it. But you are slimmer of the hip. You often have a flat bottom, and you often have really lovely long legs and slender arms as well. If you put weight on, you're going to put it on around your bust first of all. You're going to get sort of maybe bits of fat under the arms and around the back. And then you could, as you get older, thicken into a bit of an apple shape as well, as sort of things. You get a bit of a menopause belly, and I'm afraid it all happens to many of us, doesn't it? You can go a bit towards apple. And if you don't, you're very, very lucky. No matter either way, we're going to dress both of them. So styling considerations, and I hope that you're starting to follow along and you're kind of getting the whole idea. It's all about getting the figure back into proportion, back into the figure of 8 shape or hourglass shape. So you're already nice and broad on the top. All you're going to do is define that lovely waist and then build out, add volume on the bottom half, and lo and behold, we're back into that hourglass. The opposite of a strawberry is a pear. So we've got much narrower shoulders, and usually pears have a pretty good waist. They've usually got abs, or had abs when they were younger. I'm always very, very jealous. I've never had abs myself. But they do have a beautiful, bootylicious, booty hips, probably slightly chunkier thighs as well. That's where they carry their weight. Now celebrated thanks to the likes of Kim Kardashian, and why not be absolutely proud of your behind if you are. And this is where your sort of dressing your favourite bits comes in. So a couple of videos ago I asked you to think about which your favourite body bits are, because normally in sort of traditional or historic personal styling would be disguising the bottom and guiding the eye over the hips and the thighs. However, if it's your favourite bit, and why shouldn't it be? I'm sure it's fabulous. Then forget that. Let's draw loads of attention to it and celebrate it, in which case we'd treat it slightly differently. But general styling considerations for the pear to put it back into proportion, and I hope you're probably guessing the answer to this already, is simply putting more volume on the top half, defining that beautiful waist to balance out the top and bottom. You want to try and make them about the same size. A true pear is about 2 dress sizes larger on the bottom half to the top. That's a true pear shape. So sometimes you can be a bit of a mixture of all of it. So that's your introduction to the body shapes. Just remember that you do get degrees of shape. So not everyone is a true pear, but lots of people are a bit of pear, if you like, or a little bit hourglass, and that's perfectly normal as well. Next week, I'm going to be sharing another key factor to consider when you are dressing yourself that's as important as body shape, but often overlooked by stylists. So I'm going to talk you through. You're going to be pleased you knew about it. It's going to make a difference. I will see you then. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Please do like, love, subscribe, comment, bell, all that kind of stuff. Have a fabulous week, and I will see you very soon.